Our world will never be the same again. We just had a massive breakthrough. This is actually extremely relevant to Tesla. These two golden retrievers podcasting on top of a mountain, of course, are real golden retrievers in virtual reality. In reality, in actual reality, they are not real. This has been all computer generated with a prompt. And so was this. You just type in two golden retrievers podcasting on top of a mountain into this new piece of software, and it generates this video, which to me, it looks hyper realistic. I mean, maybe you can somehow tell that it's not real, but you would have to really pay attention. Just looking at it for a few seconds, it looks real to me. This is all AI generated, and so is this. So in a year, we went from this to this. If you told me that this is not AI generated, I would have totally believed you. And this clip is also AI generated. What does it mean to us Tesla stock investors? It means a lot. This just goes to show you how quickly things can change. A year ago, these AI videos, these were a joke. There was no useful use for these clips. But now with just a text prompt, you can generate this? This is crazy. This is all AI generated. I mean, look at this and tell me it does not look real. This looks so realistic. The exact same thing is going to happen with FSD. It's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. Oh! What just happened? It's very difficult exactly to predict when it will happen, but it will be rather sudden is what I believe. Now, if this AI progress feels really scary, don't worry, just watch this puppy video. It's so cute. It's gonna calm you down. Of course, the video is generated by AI, but that's besides the point. Do you think James is going to be a bit more bullish about FSD going forward? Well, if not, then here's a video that he will like. Of course, this is AI generated. Some of these look so hyper realistic. This is also AI generated, of course. However, some of them are a bit weird. So the people here look all right, but look at that chair. It seems like it has a mind of its own. So, wow, yeah. So there's obviously the technology is not perfect, but you can clearly see how this is going to change a lot of things going forward. Imagine seeing world leaders on video threatening other countries and doing something really silly. Or for example, imagine a political enemy creating AI videos of their political enemy doing something really stupid and silly, saying that this president is completely incompetent. Going forward, it will be so much more difficult to know if something is actually true for sure or not. So our world has just significantly changed forever. But I wonder how much energy and how many computer chips and how much computing power it took to generate these videos. And no wonder why Sam Altman wants to raise $7 trillion. And maybe with this post, he's thinking about raising $8 trillion now. I'm not sure though, but I assume that's what he means here. This is what exactly? Looks a little bit smaller than the Model Ys behind. And it seems to have modifications at the back. I'm going to zoom in for everyone. Pause if you like to take a longer look. There's a lot of speculation. Maybe it's the next generation vehicle. Maybe it's a competitor's vehicle. Maybe Tesla did a teardown and benchmarked another vehicle. Lots of rumors. But when I zoom out, I don't know. This Model Y seems to be more proportionate in size to this vehicle. I'm just guessing, but I think it's most likely just a Model Y, but I'm definitely not 100% sure. If you see any specific clues to give away whether it is a Model Y or not, leave those comments down below. I really liked this clip of FSD beta version 12. Look at these vehicles parked here, and the car just goes smoothly, no issues at all. Tesla is making an interesting move. It has started a new referral program award that allows you to accelerate your Cybertruck delivery for 30,000 credits, which is roughly 3 purchases of a Tesla vehicle for your referral link. If you redeem this, you will be invited to configure and take delivery of your Foundation Series all-wheel drive or Cyberbeast within 45 days of redemption. I haven't seen Tesla do anything like this, and I like this move personally. In many ways, you could say that this is better than letting people pay a little bit more to get the Cybertruck earlier, because some people do not have any credits. And to get these credits, what do we need to do? They need to sell some Teslas. And there must be quite a few people that will have to wait for 2 years for their Cybertruck, but with this, maybe they can get it much faster if they really want to get it much faster. And of course, many people are already taking advantage of this, so much so that it has now been sold out. But it will probably be back in the next few weeks or a month or so. But the next time Tesla does this, possibly you will need more than just 30,000 credits to do this. But if you missed your chance and you have some credits, Tesla just reopened the Cybertruck sweepstakes. To enter this, you need 1,000 credits and you may win a Cybertruck. Tesla also just reintroduced factory tours for 10,000 credits in the US, so you can go see the Fremont factory or the Texas factory. If you don't have any credits, this is the easiest way to earn them probably, because you don't need to sell anything. If you refer a demo drive via Tesla's referral program in the US, you will now receive 1,000 credits, up from 100 credits if they complete the drive by March 1st. That increase in points, I think, is a pretty good signal that a lot of people that go for a test drive actually end up purchasing a Tesla, and the conversion rate perhaps is better than Tesla expected. So I would take that as good news. Tesla last year entered the Thailand market, and just now Tesla launched the referral program over there that will help increase the demand a little bit. There's a new research note from Morgan Stanley about Tesla. The US wants EVs, but EV supply relies on China. China wants export markets, but confronts a rise in protectionism. Elon Musk wants way cheaper EVs, and so do consumers. But you need China for that, supposedly. Mexico is in a powerful position to broker a westernized, China-based EV supply chain. I don't agree that we need China for cheaper EVs. We need Tesla's next generation vehicle for significantly cheaper EVs. You cannot have Western EVs without China. Western car companies have come to realize that mass EV adoption and China are inextricably linked. But the European market is pretty big, and a lot of these legacy automakers are trying. For example, Volkswagen is coming out with cheaper EVs. Now, BYD, of course, can compete and beat Volkswagen, but the other automakers are trying too. So I don't buy this argument that China is absolutely essential. Strict trade barriers on China EV supply will mean for lower EV adoption in the West. Diversification from China comes at a price of cost and time. Now, that part I do agree with. Onshoring EV and battery supply may take decades and will face a barrage of environmental and permitting impediments. We are seeing real-time evidence of auto companies reaching across to work with China. Among a growing number of examples, we would highlight Ford's continued outreach to CATL for LFP batteries made in Michigan, but that's in Michigan, so not really in China. It's a Chinese company in Michigan. Stellantis investment in China's Leapmotor, Volkswagen's stake in XPeng, Tesla's recent plan to open a US battery plant with equipment from CATL, and Elon Musk's invitation to Chinese suppliers to supply his gigafactory in Mexico. What is pretty clear is that the sales of Chinese car parts made in Mexico to the US, these sales have been steadily increasing quite fast, actually. Lars from Tesla says that the new Model 3 has 2 mics for phone calls now, so there's no more echoing on the phone with your family. Occasionally, if I'm on the phone, but I'm driving the Model 3, not the refresh one, the old one, I have received a few complaints of there's a little bit of echo, and then I turned down the volume in the car and then it's fine. But that's definitely a welcome improvement. And based on the order page, it seems that the upgraded Model 3 has 8.3% lower energy consumption compared to the prior version, which is quite impressive. And Lars explains how it was achieved. This was achieved through an extreme dedication to every watt per mile or kilometer consumed, better aerodynamics, more efficient tires, improved HVAC efficiency, lower low voltage consumption, decreased brake drag. Generally, we view this as a system problem, not a battery or component issue. Every point of consumption matters. And Lars also explained how to choose the right tires for your Tesla. Make sure basically that your tire has one of these labels. Gary Black just responded to some of the criticism he has received. Another narrative that seems to be getting some attention is that a $100 million ad campaign to educate ICE owners of the benefits of EVs somehow means Tesla would have to raise prices. That's illogical. A $100 million ad campaign would cost just $50 per vehicle. Then you divide $100 million by 2 million deliveries, you get $50 per vehicle. The intent of an education campaign is to educate ICE owners on the benefits of going EV, show charging convenience, reduce range anxiety, lower upfront and ongoing costs, better tech, semi-autonomous driving, superior performance, better for the environment, etc. An incremental cost of $50 per EV for an educational campaign would accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy and require only roughly 14,000 incremental deliveries to justify the investment. A $100 million EV educational campaign would not require price increases. On the other hand, we estimate that cutting Model Y prices globally by $1,000 per vehicle would cost $1.3 billion and require 210,000 incremental units to be sold to break even. My question is, how do we know how much money has Tesla spent on advertising so far? That's something I would like to ask on the next earnings call. Has Tesla spent 1 million or 10 million or 50 million? It's probably, I would guess it's certainly less than 10 million would be my assumption, and maybe even a lot less than that. For all we know, it could be just in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. We really don't know. I'll share a quick update on Wall Street consensus expectations. Currently, Wall Street expects for this year 2,094,000 vehicles to be delivered, and they expect 478,000 vehicles to be delivered this quarter versus 485,000 in Q4. And for gross margins, Wall Street expects 16.5% this quarter and 17.1% for 2024. Here are year-over-year sales in China by model. Of course, Tesla is number one for 2023. And you can see that some of these vehicles, for example, the little machine, Death on Wheels, the Wuling, is, in 2022 it was quite popular, but in 2023 it wasn't nowhere near as popular as it was before, which I think will be a common theme for many vehicles once Tesla's next generation vehicle comes out. Just because something is cheaper does not mean that they will forever sell a lot of units. These cheaper vehicles actually have to be good cars that consumers actually want. And when it comes to mass market vehicles, we know that consumers really like Teslas. Also, look at this one. In 2022, it did all right. In 2023, not really. Toyota Corolla. Yeah, you will see a lot of that. We are starting to see fairly clear signs of the legacy automakers not really doing well with some of their gas-powered vehicles in a market where EVs are starting to really take over. The same will be replicated in pretty much every market in the world. Here's something that's a bit awkward. In Germany, did you know that Teslas are considered as imported vehicles even though most of them are actually made in Germany? The Mexican governor said that the Gigafactory construction in Mexico will begin in March. It would be good to finally see some actual progress in Mexico for the Gigafactory. Despite producing an 8x return for shareholders, Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, is under scrutiny for oversight of Elon Musk. The Delaware judge said that the Tesla chair took a lackadaisical approach to her oversight obligations. And then the judge also questioned whether the Tesla chair could be independent from Mr. Musk because her job on Tesla's board had earned her more than $280 million. In court last year, she said she described her pay as life-changing. By the way, did you know that Denholm initially turned down the offer to become the chairman of Tesla's board? She said that her friends advised her not to accept Mr. Musk's offer after he agreed to step down as chairman in 2018 because the company had a contrarian founder and that at the time was not profitable. I skipped a few parts, but this here is pretty interesting. At a conference last year, Denholm described how she dealt with uncertainty and doubt early in her career. Confronted with jitters about a looming international move, Denholm said she called her father for advice. He said, "Robin, what's the worst thing that can happen? You screw up and you have to come home," she told an audience in Sydney in May. "I have sort of taken that approach." Anyway, I thought this would be a bit of a hit piece, and I guess they tried to do that, but there was nothing in there, really, that made her look bad. There is a Giga Berlin factory update. The production line is running again, and it seems that production output has increased significantly. I have never seen that many trucks leaving the factory loaded with new Model Y, says Tobias. So I would see that as good news, possibly. Perhaps demand is also up, and with higher production, of course, costs are going to be lower. Now, it's also possible that Tesla is just trying to catch up with demand that was created during the period of time that Giga Berlin was shut down. So this is not necessarily bullish, but it's certainly good to see that if Tesla needs to have higher production, then at least we know, yeah, for sure, Tesla can increase production quickly in Giga Berlin if needed. But I'm going to keep an eye on that factory and see if these changes are actually permanent or just temporary. We have been seeing celebrities in Cybertrucks, and here is Lady Gaga getting into a Cybertruck, and some news websites are actually making it a story, giving Tesla some free advertising. Tesla has just sent out a new email. The Model Y is more affordable than you think. Take delivery this month and get $1,000 off. It's a bit crazy. Lucid's board has approved a $6 million cash bonus for the company's CEO, Peter Rawlinson. Lucid says this bonus is for Peter's significant contributions to this milestone achievement in relation to the Lucid Gravity SUV unveiling in late 2023. This is on top of the $379 million compensation package in 2022. Farzad is about to buy 10 shares of Lucid stock and sue the company for massively overpaying the CEO. Don't buy 10 shares, just buy 1 share, it's enough. Even Elon commented on this. His compensation is inversely proportionate to performance. Speaking of broken promises, Lucid sold not even 10,000 vehicles, far from 10,000 vehicles in 2023, but Peter promised investors 49,000 vehicle sales just 2.5 years ago. This is not milestone achieving, this is strong gravity pulling him away, far away from his actual milestones. This is Germany's BEV adoption, which is pretty interesting. Right around here, some EV incentives basically ended, and you can see how that affected the BEV adoption rate. Hybrids actually started taking off after that. South Korea's new policy targets BYD, Tesla Model Y, while favoring Hyundai and Kia. But Tesla has already adjusted the Model Y price to make sure that it is below Korea's new EV policy threshold. The domestic automakers are certainly in a better position there. Mercedes makes an unusual move. Mercedes reportedly tells dealers it's chasing volume by focusing on cheaper gas cars. It's a 180-degree turn from the previous strategy of prioritizing high-end models and EVs. If you remember, in the US, Mercedes earlier had a lot of EV inventory, and they are probably taking that into consideration now. The Ford CEO just said this: if you are looking for the future of the automotive industry, stop looking at FSD and Tesla. Look at Ford Pro. It's got 500,000 subscribers with 50% gross margin, which, by the way, has nothing to do with FSD or driving software, autonomous driving software. Ford Pro is the legacy automaker's business unit for commercial customers, including fleet operators and government agencies. And of course, Ford has a massive losses from its EV business. This legacy automaker says it just turned a profit on EVs. It's the Jeep and Chrysler owner Stellantis. Now, maybe one reason for that is that it has not sold a single EV in the US. So if you haven't sold any EVs in the US, then of course you haven't lost any money. And some people would say, well, if you haven't lost any money, you must have made money. Now, to be fair, they do sell EVs in Europe, and they do have plans to bring some EVs into North America this year. I'll keep an eye on this story as it develops. Elon Musk posted this to his main timeline, so this will get over 10 million views. What matters most about Powerwall 3 is that it can handle peak power of 30 kilowatts, which is enough to handle dryers and air conditioners. This means that a single Powerwall is now enough for most homes. This will probably bring in some sales for the new Powerwall. And make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Watch this next video, during which I go through Gary Black's latest catalyst list. He just updated it, and one really surprised me. This was recorded live, though, this morning, so keep that in mind. It's not going to be a produced video, but feel free to watch it if you don't mind raw content. I will probably do another live stream tomorrow between 7 and 9 a.m. Pacific time. And I will do more next week as well. So make sure to subscribe to that other channel if you don't want to miss these live streams when I go live.